everybody. Welcome to Home Cooking with Deb. It's a beautiful day here in upstate New York. The sun's out. It's going to be about 65. The daffodils are beginning to bloom, and I had the urge to make a cheesecake. So today we're going to do a cheesecake, and we want to get it started early because hopefully we are going to have it for dessert tonight. The thing about a cheesecake is that it really has to set for a while and get cold before you eat it. So if you're going to do this like as a regular dish or for a guest dinner or something, do it the day before, and then you'll be sure that it's nice and cold and ready to serve. The first thing we're going to do is separate our eggs. Now it's 5 eggs. I have an extra egg here in case I mess it up. Separating eggs though is really easy. What we want to do is we want the egg whites in one container. And this is all you do to separate the eggs. The really important thing about separating eggs is that you don't get any egg yolk in with the white. Very important. Because if you do, you're in trouble. Your egg whites will not whip. But it's really easy, and once in a while, you know, you'll crack it wrong, and it won't work right. So you'll have to start over. But other than that, it's easy. After we finish separating our eggs, we're going to put the egg whites in the fridge and keep them cold until we're ready to use them. Okay, I think I just saw a shell go in there. We'll get that out. There is some little device for separating egg yolks, but to me, the best device is the shell. So that's how we do it. Okay, now we're going to put that in the fridge. Also, remember when you're doing your egg whites, this has got to be very clean and 100% dry. No water, no nothing, because egg whites can be a little bit finicky. If there's any kind of moisture or anything in there, they will not whip. So we're going to put them in the fridge and keep them cold. They do whip better that way. And don't be afraid of cheesecakes. They're really easy to make. There's nothing to it. This is a 9-inch pan that I use, and it's one of these little guys that the bottom pops out when you flip it open. This makes a really big cheesecake, and it'll serve a lot of people. This will last us all week. So we're going to put our see that big shell? Put our eggs in there, and we're going to come over here. Now, the next thing that we're going to do is we use 3 packages. I use Philadelphia cream cheese, the original. Don't use the low fat. It just doesn't taste very good. And if you can warm it, you're better. You're better off. My microwave kind of went on the fritz, so I don't have one right now. But leave it out for a little while before, because it'll whip better when you warm it. You need a great big spoon. And we're going to take our little blender. Pick that up. Soften it up a little bit. You can get this cheesecake in the oven in, I don't know, maybe 10 minutes. So it's great. I've tried lots of recipes. I keep coming back to this one. It's simple. Yeah, you see how that, even though the cream cheese is a little bit hard, it's still blended up really nice. Now we put in a cup of sugar. And I like lemon juice in it. I've got about 4 tablespoons of lemon juice. I like mine a little bit lemony. It doesn't taste like a lemon cheesecake, but it gives it a very light feeling. And this is a light cheesecake. It fluffs up beautifully. And then the last ingredient, you turn this down a little bit. About 3 tablespoons of flour, all-purpose flour. Just blend that in. do is make our crust. And I told you in the bread show that I'm allergic to soy, so I don't use graham cracker crust. I think it's got soy in it, and everything's got soy in it. These don't have soy in it. They're made with butter, and they're really good. They're chessmen, and so they're like a shortbread cookie. So I put them in my little food processor. You want them chopped up really fine. So there's one in there that doesn't want to chop. Well, okay, and we're going to put this in the bottom of the pan. Now it's already loaded with a lot of good butter and stuff, so we don't really need to do anything else to it other than that. And I don't like a big thick crust. That's up to you. When I eat cheesecake, I want to eat cheesecake. So, you know, a lot of restaurant cheesecakes, you'll have a half an inch of graham cracker crust, and I'm like, well, what's the point? You know, I'm eating graham crackers here, not cheesecake. That's really all you have to do for the crust. We're going to come back. We use 1 16-ounce thing of sour cream. Again, everything is whole milk. I don't use skim or non-fat. It just really isn't very good. If you're going to eat cheesecake and you're on a diet, well, eat a smaller piece, because it really is jam-packed with calories and fat. But if it's going to be a treat, well, allow yourself a treat once in a while. Okay, and then we're going to put in about a teaspoon of vanilla. Sometimes I put a little bit more. See how much? Yeah, I'll put a little bit more. I guess I got almost 2 teaspoons, but the original recipe for this calls for 1 teaspoon. And also, you know, when you're doing this, if you don't like vanilla, don't put vanilla in it. If you want chocolate, you can put a little cocoa powder, unsweetened cocoa powder in it. That'd be fine too. This is your basic cheesecake recipe. And we're going to whip this up nice. Look how easy this is. Pretty well mixed. Now, what we're going to do next, and this is critical, when we do our egg whites, I only have 1 set of these guys, so I have to wash them. When you do egg whites, like I said, everything's got to be clean and 100% dry, or they will not whip. So I'm going to wash these off, and we'll be right back and whip our egg whites. Okay, now we're ready to whip our egg whites. We took them out of the refrigerator. Now this does take a minute or two. It's got to be on high. And you know what? If you've made a mistake with your egg whites, you'll know it pretty quick. Because see how foamy they get? They do get foamy. Starting to cook them nicely. Test them right now, and we're going to see if they hold a stiff peak. And you see that? They're starting to hold a stiff peak. About another, 10 seconds. Perfect. Okay, that's good. Now all we're going to do here, well, before I put this in, I'm going to smell it, because you know, like I said, I smell everything. It smells lemony, but I think I want it a little more lemony because I feel like it. I'm going to tell you again, make sure you use real lemon juice. Don't use anything imitation. Make sure you use pure vanilla. Make sure it's not imitation. It really does make a big difference in your final product. I'm just going to sprinkle some more in and mix it up by hand. Make sure you've scraped the sides of your bowl so you make sure everything is well blended. But look at how easy this is. This is all there is to making this cheesecake. Okay, that's blended in. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to fold in our egg whites, and that means you're just going to gently mix them. That was always like a real mystery to me when I was a kid, when I first started baking. I was like, what is this folding business? But you know what? It's just this. You put them in, and you're just going to fold them. What you don't want is to have your egg whites break down into nothing, but you want them blended in enough so that you don't have like a foamy cheesecake. Because if you've ever made like a lemon meringue pie and you put your egg whites on top, you want them to be thick like that. For this, we just want to blend them in nicely. And that's as simple as it is. This is a delicious cheesecake. Now there's a couple of pitfalls with cheesecakes. Again, I told you I've made many cheesecakes, but I love this recipe. You preheat your oven to 300. You put it in your baking pan there, and you put it in the oven for 1 hour. Now, you can check it every now and then, but don't even worry about it. Let it cook for an hour. Come back and look at it. And I think I got to look again. We turn the oven off. You leave it in there for another hour. The only problem that you can have with this cheesecake is that the top can split. And you know what? It doesn't matter. It'll look split, but it'll taste delicious. It's not going to affect the flavor or the taste at all. Now that's pretty well blended, and that is it to making a cheesecake. We're going to put it into our pan. Pours in nicely. You know, I think the original recipe for this called for 2 cream cheese, but I wanted it, you know, I experiment with everything. I look at recipes and I go, I don't really want that. I can change it to this. And that's what you should do when you learn to cook. Or even, you know, for somebody who cooks all the time, shake it up a little bit, because it's got to be to your taste. Something that you like. That's why there's millions of different people in the world. No 2 people are alike. And that is all you do. Look at that. Beautiful, huh? Every last drop you want in there. Okay, let me just rinse my fingers. Okay, we're going to go put it in the oven now. Put it on the middle rack in the oven. And you let it sit in there. I'm going to close her up. And we're going to come back in an hour. I'm going to go outside and plant my new blueberry bush. It's got buds on it. And we'll see in a little bit, and we'll check on this cheesecake.